This first video is on section 6.1, which has the following objectives. We're going to describe the advantages and disadvantages of the three major forms of business organizations, and we're going to describe how cooperatives and nonprofits are like and unlike corporations and franchises. So organizing a business, the three main types of businesses that you can organize are sole proprietorships, partnerships, and corporations. So an entrepreneur, when they are deciding, after they've decided their product, their service, and they're writing up their business plan, they have to decide which type of business is going to best fit their situation. So sole proprietorships are probably the most important, not necessarily the most important, but the most popular way of setting up a business. About 3/4 or 75% of all businesses in the United States are sole proprietorships. So a sole proprietorship is a business owned by one person. So sole one, that's all it is. The advantages to a sole proprietorship is that it's easy to start. You make all the decisions. You run the company as you see fit. You keep all the profits. Income taxes are lower because corporate income tax is usually a higher tax bracket than personal income tax, but also because a corporation is sometimes considered double taxed. Corporations will pay taxes on their income, and then when they issue dividends to their stockholders, those stockholders are paying taxes on the income from the dividends. So double taxation. So sole proprietorships do not have that. However, there are some disadvantages. There's unlimited liability, which means that the owner is responsible for all debts. And if they exceed, if they have no more money, they basically have to bankrupt themselves in order to pay off the debts. Limited access to credit because banks are, usually pretty wary of loaning money to sole proprietors because they don't have necessarily the business history or any sort of security that they are going to be able to pay back the loan. And so most sole proprietorships fail because they run out of money. They don't have the savings, they don't have the credit, and they're no longer able to pay their debts. Also, the person in charge may not have all the skills needed to run the business. You want to open up a bakery, but you don't know how to bake a cake. You think you can hire a baker to do that, but then for some reason that doesn't work out, and you have to bake the cakes yourself. And if you don't have the skills to run the business, you run a lot of risks in the business failing. Also, once the owner dies, the sole proprietorship ceases to exist, and so trying to set up transfer of ownership as part of a will or an estate agreement, that can be kind of lengthy and cumbersome. So usually sole proprietorships, if they are wanting to keep it long term, have to be changed into the next type, which is called a partnership. So a partnership is a business owned by two or more people who share its risks and rewards. So in order to have a partnership, you have to have a partnership agreement. It's a contract between all of the partners, stating to what the level of the agreement is. Again, like a sole proprietorship, the advantages is that it's easy to start. All you need is to have the partnership agreement, and depending on what the product or service is, you might need to have licensing within the state. It's easier to obtain capital because you have a co-signer on the loans. It's not just one person. It could be two or three or more people. Since all of this is not dependent on one single person, I think I put small person, but meant to be single person, you share in the risks and whatnot. Income is taxed only once. So like a sole proprietorship, it's taxed at basically the tax level of the persons. And then each partner brings in different skills and talents to the business. So somebody may be really good at marketing, and another person may be good at baking, and another person's really good at accounting. And so they get together and they run this business that's a bakery, successful because of its awesome advertising campaign, and the financial person's able to keep all of this running together, make sure that they have the money to buy the supplies to bake the cakes, or whatever the scenario may be. Disadvantages, all partners share the risks. So if there are disagreements between partners, if there are bad decisions made by a partner, everybody in the partnership agreement is subject to those risks. Also, if one partner decides to leave, then the partnership technically has to end, and the remaining partners have to reorganize with a new partnership agreement and a new registration with the state. Also, like a sole proprietorship, all partners share unlimited legal and financial liability. So again, you're having to make sure your debts are paid, and you have to do whatever is necessary to do that. So if that means selling your house or whatever is drastically needed, all partners are subject to that. The last common form of business ownership is called corporations. So corporations are companies that are registered by the state and operate apart from their owners. So in order to form, you have to have a corporate charter filed with the state where your main office is in. So you may be located all over the country, but if your headquarters are in Austin, Texas, you would have to file a corporation with the state of Texas. So part of the advantages is that you can raise money through selling stock. Also, banks are sometimes more willing to loan credit to a corporation. Part of the corporate charter is that you must have a board of directors that are responsible for approving decisions made by the corporation. Advantages, owners have limited liability. You're only responsible for the amount of capital that you have invested in the business. So that's good there. And again, as I mentioned before, a second advantage is the ability to raise money through stock. So you can issue stock, people buy it, and you have money to fund your growth. And then also, if an owner passes away, the corporation doesn't end because the owner has died. Basically, they sell or distribute the shares of stock, and then the corporation continues as before. The disadvantage we've talked about once before, the double taxation. So again, the corporation's taxed at their income level, and then when they issue dividends to their stockholders, those are also taxed at the stockholders' individual tax level, tax bracket. So that can be expensive. Some corporations are exempt from this. Those are called limited liability companies and S corporations. So they get some benefits from the double taxation, but they don't get all of the benefits of being a corporation. If you are a corporation, there are regulations. So you are definitely more observed by the government than other types of businesses. And also, to set up a corporation, it is very difficult and costly to do, and requires a lot of experience and a lot of legal help in order to make sure that you are filing all of the necessary forms with the state. And then lastly, some other ways to organize a business. A cooperative, also known as a co-op, is when the organization is owned and operated by its members. So groups of businesses, such as farms, they'll pool their resources, they form this cooperative, and the purpose is to save money on the purchase of certain goods and services. So the cooperative can make the marketing of goods and services more efficient and profitable. So a lot of times you'll see cooperatives for grocery stores and things like that, local farmers pooling together to sell their goods. Also, some major companies like Ocean Spray, they're known for their cranberry juice. They're a cooperative of cranberry growers. So all those farmers of cranberries get together and are selling Ocean Spray juice. Then you have nonprofit organizations, usually known as just a nonprofit, and they're focused on providing a service, but they are not focused on making a profit. Now, they have to also register with the government, and because they don't make a profit, they don't have to pay taxes. So, of course, nonprofits are also going to be watched quite carefully by the government to make sure that they are being legitimate nonprofit organizations. And then lastly is franchises. Franchises are contractual agreements to use the name and sell the products or services of a company in a designated geographic area. So popular ways of doing this are like through fast food restaurants like Taco Bell, and stock businesses like Edward Jones is a common one in the United States. So they offer a good or a service, and then to run the franchise, you have to invest the money to pay the franchise fee for a share of the profits. So you will get, if you own a franchise, let's say you own the local McDonald's, you pay a fee to McDonald's Corporation to have the right to sell McDonald's and keep the name and get the recognition from all people who come there. And you get a portion of the profits that your store generates. So in return, the franchisor, so the corporation like McDonald's or whatever, the franchisor offers a well-known name and a business plan. So you're not having to go through all of that in order to set up this fast food place or this restaurant or cleaning service or investment service or whatever. You're getting this popular name, and you have that product already, but it gives you a chance to still own the business and still make more of the profit than if you were just a worker in that business. All right, that concludes lesson or section 6.1. We'll pick it up in 6.2 in the next video.